The fear of practice. What is the fear of practice and what causes it? That's what this video will explore. Now, I'm not talking about any kind of practice, like practicing the oboe or violin or piano, anything like that. Specifically, I'm referring to the practice of the finance strategy we call the tax-free cash growth warehouse, which is based on infinite banking, sweep strategy, and cash flow principles. I'm Stan Cox. I'm the principal broker and strategist with SC Finance Strategies and Insurance Consultants. I'm also the author of the books on the tax-free cash growth warehouse strategy, and I'm the managing director of the Hawaii Financial Free Thinkers Academy, a nonprofit financial literacy education organization. For the past several years, I have focused on and specialized in the infinite banking and the tax-free cash growth warehouse finance strategy. So I'm uniquely qualified to speak on the topic. You see, even though I was fully convinced of the value and benefits and completely understood intellectually how the process worked, I experienced the fear of practicing the tax-free cash growth warehouse strategy. So I completely understand the hesitancy and trepidation you may experience when it comes to actually practicing the strategy yourself. Now, this is going to sound a little off subject here as I relate this story of my personal experience, but I believe it illustrates the issue rather well. See, I was raised in California in the 60s and 70s, and I may have heard of sushi and sashimi, but if I did, I don't recall it. And in any case, eating raw fish certainly did not appeal to me. Fish, any kind of fish, was to be cooked before eating. That was my only experience with eating fish. Now, I moved to Kauai in the mid-70s, and I rented a room in a house owned by a fisherman. He brought home all kinds of fish, and he prepared it in many delicious ways. Well, one day, he brought home a nice-sized tuna. I loved tuna. Charlie's Chicken of the Sea was a favorite of mine. Now, imagine my disbelief when my fisherman friend brought out this huge platter of 2-inch square slices of translucent, completely raw tuna, and a bowl of shoyu and a little wasabi, and said, "Dig in." Are you kidding me? Well, I saw him and the others eagerly devouring this totally uncooked fish and making noises as if it were the most scrumptious thing they ever tasted. So I knew then that he wasn't joking. Being young and adventurous, I decided to give it a try. I was amazed. I did not know that I loved tuna sashimi. I can make a full meal of raw tuna with just a little bit of shoyu and wasabi, actually with or without the wasabi. Thing is, I never knew how really wonderful it was until I experienced it for myself. So how does that relate to the fear of practicing the tax-free cash growth warehouse strategy? Well, when you know only one way of doing something, and you and everyone you know has always done it only that way, it is natural to be at least cautious, if not actually fearful, of trying a different way of doing it. Banking, for example. You make a paycheck, you put the money in the bank, you write checks to pay your bills, buy food, gas, whatever else you buy. That's how you've always done it. That's how everyone you know has always done it. It works, it's safe. You're used to it, and it's comfortable to do it that way. Along comes this information that maybe opens your eyes and makes complete sense about how the banks are really running a huge scam on everyone. They charge you fees to keep your money safe and available for you. And you're okay with that because, again, you and everybody else you've ever known always played along with that arrangement. But the reality is the banks are not keeping your money safe. They're practicing fractional reserve banking while investing your money in all kinds of things, some with guaranteed excellent returns, like bank-owned life insurance, and other non-guaranteed vehicles, but mostly investing in making loans and charging lots of interest, especially in the case of amortized loans like mortgage and vehicle loans. But do they share their profits with you? No. Banks collect anywhere from 5 to 60% on the loans they fund. And what do they pay you for the use of your money? That would be a big fat zero in most cases. They don't pay any interest on checking accounts, and the interest they pay on savings accounts is insulting. And then they charge you fees. And that's just the tip of the iceberg, folks. Big finance has the population so brainwashed that most people aren't willing to even examine what's really going on and what other options are available to them. For example, who ever heard of using life insurance as a financial instrument to produce gains or to use like a bank? Unless you happen to have the good fortune to be born into a family that has practiced such a strategy, or have a friend who discovered the infinite banking concept and shared it with you, or you happened onto a website or YouTube channel like this one. And really, information about this strategy is unfortunately pretty rare. On top of that, you have all the professional money managers, financial advisors, financial gurus like David Ramsey and Susie Orman, who make their living collecting fees from people like you or me for managing their investments for them, and who don't understand participating whole life insurance and how it works, or how to construct a policy for maximum financial gain, or how to utilize the infinite banking strategy. And they keep repeating that whole life insurance is a bad idea and that you should buy term insurance from them and then pay them for their advice on how to invest your money. Well, let's go back to that little tidbit I quickly mentioned earlier, bank-owned life insurance. It's known in the industry by its abbreviation, BOLI or BOLI. All commercial banks invest a good part of their portfolios in BOLI. In fact, banks have billions of dollars invested in bank-owned life insurance. Why is that? Because it offers guaranteed high compounding tax-free interest. It offers superior protection for the money, and of course, financial protection in the case of the death of a key person in the bank's employ. Now, that truth alone should expose the lie that the so-called gurus regurgitate about whole life being a bad investment. But yeah, using a whole life policy as a banking instrument is admittedly a very different kind of idea. That's by design, by the design of big finance. If everyone knew about and practiced the infinite banking tax-free cash growth warehouse strategy, banks and the financial advisors wouldn't be making but a small fraction of the money they make now. People would be growing their money for themselves and leveraging it to buy the things they buy anyway, but typically finance with cash or credit. I said at the beginning that I experienced the fear of practicing the strategy myself when I started with it. It was just so foreign to me and my wife. So we started slowly, tested it out. It worked beautifully, and the process was very simple and easy. We got our leveraged funds in just a few days, Didn't have to sign any kind of agreement to repay it on any kind of schedule. In fact, we didn't even make a single payment on the loan for the whole first year. And in spite of that, our cash value grew remarkably well, and we didn't have to even report it to the IRS. So we used the strategy to finance a vacation. Our cash account continued growing. Then we applied the sweep strategy with the Infinite Banking to pay off a credit loan. Then I realized we could employ this strategy to earn interest on the money we pay to the IRS for our annual tax bill. Ha! I think that's the point where the fear of practice evaporated into thin air. The moral of this story is practice using the strategy, and before long, the experience will be so rewarding for you, the fear and hesitancy will completely vanish. When you see your money continuing to grow, while at the same time you're using it and you realize you aren't restricting yourself or your money at all, you will become bold and empowered. You will know that you have the secret to multiplying the power of your money. Now, if you found this to be helpful, please like this video and subscribe to this channel. Also, please post your questions and comments here. For a more complete examination of the tax-free cash growth warehouse strategy, you can watch our free 60-minute webinar. The link is in the description box below here. The link to buy my books on Amazon.com is also below in the description box. If you'd like to book a free phone consultation with me, the link to my Calendly page is also below. And if you'd like to apply to become a client of ours, that link to the application is in the description box below as well. We're here to help, and we look forward to helping you. Aloha and mahalo for watching.